10 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for watching, everyone. I'm Lester Holt. Please continue to take care of yourself and each other.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Tokyo 21, presented locally by IT&E. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano Program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up tonight on Primetime, a press conference was held detailing the COVID hospitalization rate for Guam. Plus, if you don't need to be out, then stay home. Healthcare professionals are urging residents to please stay indoors. And flooded homes and damaged vehicles and roads, residents clean up after yesterday's flash floods. Half a day, friends, and good evening. I'm Jason Salas. These are tonight's top stories. Well, as we all wait as an island community for the COVID case count, from today, 112 new positive cases were reported out of the Joint Information Center last night. This brings our island's total COVID case count to 1,232 positive cases, 766 of which are active, while 456 people have recovered. 38 people are hospitalized, and there are now 10 deaths as of Thursday. Well, the COVID hospitalization rate is looking worse than earlier projected. Governor's Physicians Advisory Group spokesman Dr. Felix Cabrera held a press briefing today, highlighting a chart that he wasn't able to present at yesterday's press event.
This is the chart Dr. Cabrera points to. It tracks the projected peak of COVID hospitalizations, which typically occurs 10 to 15 days after people are ordered to stay home or when the mobility rate drops below 80%. What worries him is that the chart shows us trending above what they first thought was a plausible worst-case scenario.
Basically, we're targeting hopefully no later than Friday, the 4th of September to be the peak for hospitalizations. And it's hard to say where in the curve it may end up. The rest of the trajectory may start following the green, but right now all signs are saying that it's going to be following the red line. And so, of course, this is a major concern, and contingencies are continuing to be made to take care of patients without compromising, standard of care as much as possible.
And if the hospitalization trajectory does track along the red line, that spells big problems, not only for facility capacity, but also the nurse and medical staff needed to run them. Cabrera says they've made the request with the feds to bring in medical personnel to help, but don't know yet when the cavalry will arrive.
Unfortunately, we don't have a set date, and it takes about 14 days. The reality is that when they do come, it's a commitment for about 30 days. And regardless of where we are in this curve, even if we start on a downward trend, which we pray we do, that our current staff they definitely need respite, and that this staffing will help provide that as well.
The request has to go through FEMA first, and they would arrange for the military medical personnel. He says they spoke again just today with a regional office.
They definitely understand the urgency here. They are quite concerned for Guam. They're seeing this, that our rate of increased cases is similar to Navajo Nation, and that's been widely known of how dire things have gone there.
The Navajo Nation he refers to, according to national media reports, it has a population of about 173,000 and more than 4,000 cases, the highest per capita rate in the country. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
And as we head into the weekend, members of the Governor's Physicians Advisory Group and the Department of Public Health urge the community to please stay home. We cannot reinforce this point enough. Please stay home, stay healthy, and if it is not an emergency situation, stay away from emergency rooms.
The people in Guam, the message that if you have mild symptom, call your provider, get seen at clinic level, but do not go to emergency room.
It's usually the place you go to when in dire need of help, but the tables have turned as a surge of COVID cases rises. Governor's Physicians Advisory Group Board Chair Dr. Hoa Nguyen says emergency rooms at both GMH and GRMC are getting slammed.
Because they really saturated at the ER with all the sick patients.
From now until next week Tuesday, the PAG is anticipating the number of patients to fill the ER at both hospitals as COVID infections continue to peak.
Everywhere you go, there's going to be some wait just because we have so much patient at this point.
Territorial epidemiologist Dr. Ann Pobutsky has been tracking the numbers and demographics of the COVID infections. Almost half of the current cases were recorded in the past week and were in children and young adults.
I don't even know if kids will be able to go back to school till next year. I don't even know if that's possible.
As we head into our second weekend on lockdown, Dr. Pobutsky is urging people to chill out.
We're trying to simmer down the use of the hospital. At the same time, if you're really sick, go to the clinic, go to the hospital. If you have the sniffles and you're 25 and no other symptoms, maybe you have it. Stay home and don't party with your friends. Play with your phone, watch videos, read a book.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matanani.
Now, to help free up much-needed space at the Guam Memorial Hospital, Chair of the Governor's Physicians Advisory Group, Dr. Hoa Nguyen, who you just heard from, confirms a location is being eyed.
I think the talk is at the Guam Surgery Center, will be is the second site to try to put the non-COVID patient there at the med-surg or med-tele level. So that way we can make room at GMH for more COVID patients.
GMH has had to open up 5 COVID care units, and as of this morning, there were 33 COVID patients hospitalized. At least 6 are in the ER, and 4 are receiving ICU-level care. Well, public health is back on track after running the 1,500 specimens that were in the freezers that were collected during the community testing 2 weeks ago up in Jigo. Annette Uggan is the public health contact tracing supervisor. Uggan says the positive results are being pushed out now are new cases with recent infections. For the time being, although public health is caught up with that backlog, they are still trying to catch up with contacting close contacts. Nurses are making phone calls sometimes as late as 10 at night and as many as 600 phone calls a day to inform people of their results. Uggan says many of these nurses are calling from home after pulling an all-day shift. Well, Governor Leon Guerrero quickly signed a bill into law to cancel tomorrow's scheduled primary election. Senators passed the measure by Speaker Tina Rose Muña Barnes late yesterday by a vote of 12-3, with Republicans Will Castro, Luis Muña, and Democrat Kelly Marsh Taitano voting against it. In a letter to the Speaker, the governor writes, quote, "Every election matters, and the people who participate in our elections should never feel as though their decision to exercise their right and perform their civic duty is not without value." Yet the governor said during this COVID pandemic she agreed with the majority of senators that the, quote, "bigger, more consequential decision is that we must make is the one to save lives." This means all candidates will now advance to the November 3rd general election. The Election Commission is taking steps to ensure the voting is as safe as possible. Well, heavy rainfall, as the kind like you probably hear right now outside your home, leads to extreme flooding in several villages. Multiple viewer-submitted videos were sent to us showing the conditions throughout the island. Down in Umatic, a reported 9 inches of flooding was noted. As typhoon season is nearing, the showers and flooding is a recurring problem this time of year. Tamuning Mayor Louise Rivera tells us she had to relocate 2 families last night.
Their house was getting flooded, water coming through their. So, we were able to relocate them to a hotel. And, we've also been working with Homeland Security and DPW in regards to the flow of the water.
DPW's Jess Garcia says as of last night, essential employees have been out working to patch roadways and to clean up debris.
They're doing the main routes right now, and then they're going to go into the villages to start clearing up the village streets. We're going to concentrate on the roads right now, getting it open and clearing up some debris, assist the mayors as much as we can. I'll be doing it throughout the weekend and until we get it pretty much cleaned up. Because even with this rain and floods, right, there's bound to be diseases floating in the area because of all the dirt.
Well, in that Zoom interview, Garcia told us that 2 DPW staffers have tested positive for COVID-19 through contact tracing. A car crash early this morning claimed the life of a 65-year-old man at around 5 a.m. GPD officers responded to a car that ran off the road on Route 8 by Paterno Street over in Mighty. The male driver was transported to Naval Hospital and was later pronounced dead by attending physicians. GPD was activated and the case is ongoing as traffic investigators have yet to determine a cause. Elsewhere, Ricky Santos is in federal custody and faces attempted possession of meth with intent to distribute charges. On August 24th, the DEA conducted a search warrant on a package addressed to Shane Salas up in Jigo. Agents discovered 470 grams of meth inside the package. Documents stated on the 26th, law enforcement wired the package with a breacher and tracking device, replacing the meth with sham. The DEA placed the Salas package in the Jigo mailing address box, ultimately picked up by Santos. He was brought in for questioning, and investigators executed a search warrant raiding the Jigo residence of almost 1,200 grams, about 2.6 pounds of meth, inside a bag of Caesar dog food. A court hearing for Santos is in September. Elsewhere tonight, the Port Authority of Guam has identified a 5th employee positive with COVID-19. GM Roy Respicio was notified late this afternoon, adding the port contact tracing team immediately began working on this latest case and identified 77 staffers in immediate close contact. Employees have been notified and they will all be tested tomorrow by Public Health. In total, the port contact tracing team has been able to identify 283 cases of close contact exposure with the 5 port employees and has coordinated testing for all of those exposures. Well, please stay tuned. Primetime will continue right after this.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
For the safety of our customers and our associates, we wipe down our areas and continuously we wipe down after each customer.
For safe social distancing, we also added 6 feet space markers.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
The U.S. Defense Secretary is expected to be on Guam, scheduled to tour local military facilities and meet with the Japan Defense Minister. Here's Nestor LaConta with more.
Well, aloha and good afternoon, and thank you.
Secretary Esper began his Pacific tour in Hawaii. Yesterday, he was the guest speaker at an online forum and talked about advancing a free and open Indo-Pacific.
In the coming days, I look forward to visiting Guam to see firsthand some of the investments we have made to develop the island as a strategic hub for our presence in the region. This includes the addition of air and missile defense capabilities, advanced intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems, and our ongoing Bomber Task Force missions that prepare us to defend the Indo-Pacific at a moment's notice.
The Daniel K. Inouye Speaker Series Forum just happened to be moderated by Guam native, retired Admiral Peter Gumatautau.
How important is it to the department that it strengthens its relationship with Pacific Island nations? And what are we doing to build these partnerships? And then the last is, what is being done to counter the growing Chinese influence in that region?
Look, the Pacific Island countries are very important, very critical to the region and to our strategy as well. And we have great respect for them and their sovereignty. And I think we need to spend more time and attention and investment on these important countries. So this week alone, I will be visiting Palau in the coming days. I look forward to spending a whole day there at Palau and talking to them about their defense needs and exchanging views on any number of issues, to include, the Chinese presence in the region.
During his trip to Guam, Secretary Esper will also meet briefly with Governor Leon Guerrero, who said she plans to discuss the military buildup and prospects for relocating a new ship repair facility to Guam. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The Japan Consulate confirms Defense Minister Kono will land at Andersen Air Force Base tomorrow, but will not be available to media. No further details were provided. Guam National Guard's facilities remain open, with the spokesman saying while some employees have tested positive, it's not affected overall operations at the Barrigada Readiness Center or at Fort Juan Muña.
There is no shutdown of operations. There's no base closure. There's no evacuation. This is something that we've actually been saying publicly for some time now. I think on the show yesterday with Chris and Sabrina, we mentioned that we are seeing some positives in our non-COVID response teams, right? So in our internal population, we've been seeing that. And we also mentioned that we will be moving to telework. So that's what you're seeing. Out of an abundance of caution, General Agagi yesterday said, all right, we're doing it, we're going to telework. So we're working from home, as you can see, but work is still happening. Now, the Joint Task Force, right, which is the group that's handling COVID response, they're still there, they're still working, they're at the QFACs, they're at the public health testing sites, they're still doing their thing.
He says other services like the gas station and Chapet remain fully operational. Gov Guam did end fiscal year 2019 with a general fund surplus of $35.6 million, reducing the accumulated deficit from $83.4 to $47.8 million. The audit released today by the OPA states that revenues increased by more than $22 million, mainly due to the rise in GRT from 4% to 5%. The OPA report states Gov Guam's unable to estimate the ultimate financial impact of COVID-19 due to uncertainty conditions. Senators continue with budget hearings today with just 3 days left to pass a spending plan. Notably absent were two of the administration's top fiscal experts, BBMR's Lester Carlson and DOA Director Ed Byrne. The governor's office says the budget as drafted will shortchange our debt payments, cripple public safety, and violate our commitment to public health in the middle of a pandemic. It also says instead of working with us, being out of loop, to make evidence-based adjustments to the budget, its drafting staff refused to adjust revenues by even 0.5% to avoid this budget's most dangerous outcomes. They described the budget as so far out of sync with the pressing needs of public service. Senators have yet to formally adopt a revenue projection. Individual agency directors are participating in those budget discussions. Well, GRTA has been awarded another federal grant, with the agency being given almost $2 million from the Federal Transit Administration as part of its Accelerating Innovative Mobility Initiative. Recipients will deploy new transportation tech and services. For Guam, it will be using the $2 million to introduce on-demand transit to expand connections between rural communities and the naval base to the island's commercial centers. In national news, the president closed the RNC by accepting the GOP's nomination to be their candidate. Here is more.
Fireworks capped off the fourth and final night of the Republican National Convention.
I profoundly accept this nomination for President of the United States.
While President Trump delivered fireworks of his own aimed at Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is weak.
The president continued his calls for law and order amid nationwide protests following the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
The Republican Party condemns the rioting, looting, arson, and violence we have seen in Democrat-run cities all like Kenosha, Minneapolis, Portland, Chicago, and New York.
The president did not mention Blake by name while praising the police and trying to link Joe Biden to the defund police movement, despite Biden saying he opposes it.
Make no mistake, if you give power to Joe Biden, the radical left will defund police departments all across America.
A hurricane has hit American shores during 3 of the last 4 Republican conventions. President Trump said he considered postponing tonight's speech because of Hurricane Laura, but instead says he plans to visit this weekend.
We are working closely with state and local officials in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi sparing no effort to save lives.
The campaign set up 1,900 chairs, packing the South Lawn for people to hear the president's speech. Masks were handed out to the guests who have traveled from around the country.
We will defeat the virus, end the pandemic, and emerge stronger than ever before.
The president is touting news that the government is purchasing 150 million rapid COVID test kits. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
More primetime when we return.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
No matter what size adventure you're into, it's better in a Hyundai. And introducing the Venue, the newest member of the Hyundai SUV family.
What does a brilliant cut mean to me? It means consistent quality, right across the age expressions. We never compromise on quality and flavour.
It's also the very particular cut of spirit we take to fill our barrels. Tasting it today is just as exciting as the first time I tasted it. That is the brilliant cut.
Welcome back, friends. This morning on The Link, Sabrina and Chris spoke with Johnny Silabanuz from the Office of the FSM Consul General to find out what their role is in the COVID-19 response.
What is the FSM Consulate's role in this COVID-19 response?
Thank you, Chris. I think that's a very good question. Generally speaking, in regards with our assistance, mainly with the message directly to our FSM community, is clear, and of course, it's in line with what the Department of Public Health and Social Services is doing with the guidelines, and of course with governor's executive order, the recent executive order. So we, the FSM Association, along with some of the members, including our Micronesian Resource Center representatives, we continually try to put the message out in our social media. Like I shared before, we have our FSM Association Facebook page, and that, of course, our main communication for now. And so whether you're living on Guam or staying abroad, you can of course reach out to us via the messenger, our messenger account, and then we'll do our best to respond. And then, you know, all the information that is needed there are also provided. Just this past weekend, we also had our virtual meeting where we tried to also explain in our respective the 4 states languages on what are the new guidelines and the executive order is. So that's pretty much, you know, what we try to engage and, you know, getting the message out to our FSM community.
What kind of questions are they asking you guys, Johnny, when you present this information?
Well, in regards to the COVID.
The COVID, yeah.
Well, you know, I think the question that I often ask is, you know, if our office is open, you know, in regards to what the situation is, and of course, where they can go and get tested. And I think our colleagues at the Department of Public Health Services kind of touch on the postpone of the test right now, the public test in the community. Yeah, so that's pretty much what you know, our citizens mainly, you know, in terms of the COVID, what's really happening.
Stay tuned. Birthday Shoutouts is coming up next.
My child, Econo, listen. The winds are singing. The ocean is roaring. And the trees are dancing. Our island is moving once again. In Aphomolik, our unity has carried us through the stillness of today. And now, the spirit of Huffaday is yearning for our friends to come home.
Nana, is it time to bring all our friends back now?
Hungen, yes. It's time for the world to give us a moment together.
Small businesses are an important foundation in our island's growing economy. They provide essential goods and services to our community while preserving local traditions and creating new job opportunities. Your responses to the 2020 Census of Guam will help small businesses receive the information they need to thrive for years to come. Respond today. Together, we can make a difference.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
It's that time of the newscast. It's time for birthday shoutouts.
The work week is now over, everybody, so we've got to continue the fight against coronavirus. Let's do what we all have to do. We can do this. We will do this together. And happy birthday to Debbie Leon Guerrero. You have such an awesome smile. Enjoy your day and know that your GWSH family is thinking of you. They say stay safe and healthy. Happy birthday number 2, Bubby, we love you, otherwise known as Andrew J. Magoknia. Happy birthday to you from your friends and family. Deshante Warren, happy birthday, Shawnee, and your friends and family say they love you as well. Jojo Adzungat, happy birthday to the best dad in the whole world. We are so blessed to have a kind and hardworking father like you. May God bless you with more birthdays to come. We wish you all the best and love you so much. Your wife, Jinky, daughter, Maria Love, and son-in-law, David Jr. John Roy Ungakta, happy birthday to John Roy from your loving family. Also, happy birthday number 73 to our amazing mommy, Linda Afeisen. Love your amazing daughter. See that, everybody? Amazing people produce amazing people. And that's how we do it on Guam. That's awesome. Happy birthday number 52 to John Roberto, aka John Rubbertoe. We love you so much, even if you're old. Always your Rubbertoes. I think somebody's gonna get it for that birthday shout out. But hey, that's funny. Good job, everybody. Ronald Petrus has a birthday today, and happy birthday, Ron, from your loving family. And happy belated birthday wishes going out because born on the 27th. And celebrating birthday number 10 is Sage John. May the Lord continue to bless you with his great guidance and many more wonderful years to come. Your friends and family say, we love you.
Now, one of the advantages of being featured on birthday shoutouts is at the end of the week, like tonight, you could win a Cold Stone Creamery birthday cake like this week's winner.
This week's winner is Trey Carlos Sablan Roberto. Trey, happy extended birthday to you, and we are going to reach out to you when it's safe to do so. So when you can safely go back, we're going to let you know how you can get an ice cream cake courtesy of Cold Stone Creamery. And we wish you and your friends and family celebrate your birthday, but do so responsibly. Do it over Zoom, do it over Microsoft Teams, do it over Skype, but make sure that you're doing the right thing for yourself, for your neighborhood, for your family, for our island. And we wish you a happy extended birthday. Be the best.
All right, everybody, that's going to do it for prime time, but One Micronesia is up next with Victoria's Falan. Please stay tuned, stay inside. We're going to do this, but all of us have to put in work. We can do this. See you next time.
Hafade, Ali, Rananim, Kasalele, Lengwo, Yakwe, and Mogathin, and welcome to another episode of the One Micronesia Podcast. In this episode, we feature a ceremony and interviews that was held on August 14th down at Jeff's Pirates Cove.
So that we can recognize Jeff Pleadwell and his crew for all of the life-saving work and rescue work that they've done here.
This ceremony was held to honor and present legislative resolutions to 6 individuals who have dedicated their lives to helping and saving those who encounter troubles in the waters of Tokchat Channel and along Jeff's Beach. The 6 individuals are Douglas Phillip from Chuuk, Lornas Rain from Chuuk, Titus Kewell from Chuuk, Winterhead from Ponape, Hanson Lowe from Ponape, and Jeff Pleadwell, the owner of Jeff's Pirates Cove. Now, after the ceremony, I got a chance to sit down with Douglas, Lornas, Titus, and Jeff to get to know them and get to know their stories. All right, welcome to the One Micronesia Podcast. Now we're gonna get to know the other awesome members of the Jeff's rescue team. But first up, we have here we're gonna talk to Douglas Phillip, and he's gonna tell us more about him. Douglas, first things first, I want to say congratulations on the award. Job well done. So I want to get to know you just a little bit, Douglas. Tell us where you're from and how you first moved to Guam.
My name is Douglas Phillip. I'm from region of Murloc in Chuuk. I moved to Guam 1995 for school, but I never went to school. I just ended up working in my life. That's exactly what I did. I met Sarah Pleadwell. I have 2 kids, and I kept working.
Oh, wow.
From there.
So you said, what year was that you said you moved to Guam?
95.
1995. And you said you were going to go to school, right?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, from what I heard from my uncles, when they moved to the States, is school first, right? Because that's what you go for. So you were, what were you aiming to study when you were?
I was aiming for, study law,
something like that. And then just because sometimes things don't always pan out the way it's it's supposed to be. So you started working here, Jeff, first.
I started working here, Jeff Bar School, 2011 or 2002, and until now.
Until now. So when you first started here at Jeff's, what did you do first? What was your position?
I just clean the beach, clean around the area, and from there, Jeff moved me to the bar, and I stayed there until now.
So, the really unique thing about the team that Jeff's put together is you guys didn't start as certified lifeguards, or you guys were normal workers at restaurants where either you did the tables, like you said, you were in the bar or in the back of the kitchen, but all that panned out to be something that's great and it saved lives. So let's talk about the first time you started working with Jeff was rescuing people.
When I first started work here, my first rescue were 2 Japanese. I saved one, and one was gone. I used kayak that time. And from there, just keep adding up, many people in the channel, just kite porters, fishermen. And then 2012, I rescued those 2 National Guard from Oklahoma Air Force. 2016, I got my certification for the SAR, Search and Rescue National. Wow. And 2000, what was that? I went with my cousin Titus I want him to be certified also with that training in the fire department, KUAM Fire Department. And I'm happy he got his own, and I'm trying to make these guys get their own too.
So pretty much you were one of the first to say the first on the team, right? Mm-hmm. So after that you slowly brought the boys onto it, and it's one of the things that Clint said, the coolest things about this is that we're all from the islands, we love the water, it's a part of us. So to come here to Guam and to literally give back in that way, and especially in rescuing lives, that's a big thing. And like I said, thank you. And the awards that you guys got today is well deserved, and I hope everybody else should know your stories, and especially for our Micronesian community here in Guam to also know that you guys are doing your part. You guys aren't just here just working to get money. You guys are actually giving back by rescuing and saving lives. So that's an awesome thing. So thank you again.
Thank you
for all that you guys are doing, and continue to do awesome job. So
we will continue to.
So just in closing, for you, what would be a message you want to tell our FSM community?
Just do all the positive stuff, good for Guam, help people, take care of each other, help the community, and that's all I can say to all my fellow FSM citizens. Just do your job, do your part, help people.
Okay, all right. Well, Douglas, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast with me. And like I said, continue to do the awesome things that you do. Thank you so much.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment.
We are still in this together.
At KUAM, we're working harder than ever to bring you the very latest in coronavirus news.
We take our jobs as first informers seriously.
Asking the questions you want the answers to.
So thank you, Guam, for continuing to trust us to keep you informed.
We are all in
this together, and that means we all need to continue to do our part.
We can't let our guard down. Each and every one of us are soldiers in this war against COVID-19, and every day is a battle.
It may sound hard to believe, but combating COVID requires us to hold the line every single day by continuing to practice social distancing, wear a mask, and wash your hands.
If there's anything we've learned these past few months is that things can change within hours. We can wake up in the morning hearing there are 0 positive cases, and by the time we go to sleep at night, we can see a spike.
That's why we urge you to please continue the fight, not just for yourself, but for your family and friends.
We can do this together.
Let's all stay ahead of the spread.
This message is brought to you by the KUAM Care Force. Join KUAM News every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on TV8 and streaming live on the KUAM News Facebook page for In Full Zoom, a half-hour program zooming in on efforts to rebuild Guam's economy. Nestor Lecanto will interview a panel of guests from the business sector via Zoom to discuss their ideas and suggestions on how the island can rebound from the devastating blow from COVID-19. From struggles to strategies to get Guam back on the road to economic recovery. Check out In Full Zoom Wednesdays on KUAM Digital and KUAM TV8 at 6:30 p.m. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. Check KUAM.com or our mobile news app for additional showtimes.
Hey guys, and we're back. We're getting to know the awesome team that Jeff's put together here at the Jeff's Pirates Cove. They call themselves the Jeff's Rescue Team. Next up here, we're going to talk to Lawrence Rain. So Lawrence, first things first, I want to say congratulations on the award from the government. I think it's well deserved for what you guys do here on a day-to-day basis. So let's start with you. We want to get to know you just a little bit. So when did you first move to Guam?
I moved to Guam in 1995. That's when I came here. So, you know, when I first came here, it's kind of hard because this new to Guam. So
when you came to Guam, were you coming to work, or you
Yes.
you came to work, not for school, just for work?
Supposed to be for school, but I have to work first.
Right. And I think that's the thing. I think we've seen a lot of Micronesians do that. Like everybody, when they leave the islands, either they come for work or school, but it's always for school, right?
Yeah.
So every time we come out here, and then we face the difficulties of having to work to have money, and then go to school, and then sometimes school kind of becomes that thing where we kind of have to get back to it, but then we get busy with work and everything. So what did you do first? Was Jeff's Pirate Cove the first place for you to work, or did you work somewhere else?
I first as a security guard, flash security guard.
Oh wow!
So like from 95 to 98, mid 98, that's when I changed my work I work at the Alpan Beach Club. So from there, from 98 to last year, 2019. Or 2000, I think 2019 or 18. That's when I changed from Alpan Beach Club to Chefs. I only worked here for like a year.
So when you first started here, what was your position?
My position here is like a security guard. Security, I just take care of the parking lot and whatever, how to for the skin,
the premises. Yeah. That's good. And then when did you first start? When was your first rescue? For to say
my first rescue here was just recently. When was that? A few months ago, when we were rescuing the kiteboarder out there. That was my first rescue. Yeah.
How was that that feeling to know that you saw somebody out there, he needed help, and then you were we had to wait for the cops. Obviously, I'm pretty sure GFD was being called, but you took into your hands to get out there, even though it was dangerous, it might putting your life in danger, but to save somebody's life. How does that feel?
Well, if you see somebody out there needs help, you cannot wait. You just want to go out there and help that person, because sometimes if you wait, it's gonna be too late. Sometimes I just want to help people. From my experience when I was working at APC, helping people is the first priority. My first job here, just back home, back home, helping each other, small island.
Right.
We know each other. We like to help each other out. If you need something, you ask somebody.
Right. Uh-huh. And you see somebody who's in trouble, you help them.
Yes. You see somebody in trouble, you help them.
What message would you have for FSM citizens here on Guam who are listening and watching the podcast? Like, what would you tell them to encourage them to help others?
Well, just help them. If you see somebody need help them. Ask if you can help them. If you cannot, just call somebody else.
So
we still hand rotate every barrel. We still hand dip every bottle. We still hand cut every label and use red winter wheat from the same single-family farm. Because just like our distinctive taste, these are the marks of the maker.
When your potential is limitless, your experiences are endless. Introducing the new GTA Multi-Line Limitless Plan. Explore island life with no limitations and never stress about running out of data or minutes. Enjoy unlimited local talk, text, and data, high-quality music and video streaming, and connections to loved ones on island and in the US and CNMI. Plus, $5 savings for each additional line sign-up. Experience your data plan your way. GTA, we start with you.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
So, Titus, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast here. We just want to get to know you. So tell us more about you. When did you first move to Guam?
I moved to Guam in 2005. I came here to work for Jeff, to work as a lifeguard security when Jeff's still take the tourists from Japan, the PMT, PMT tourists. That's why I came here to work for Jeff for the.
So, and you say you're from the Mortlocks, right?
Yeah, I'm from Mort.
So when you moved from Chuuk, this is the first job you got, right?
Yeah.
And then you've been working here since.
I just moved to here then, and work here for Jeff. I work as a maintenance.
Okay.
Include like a lifeguard to watch the tourists when they swim or do some activities in the ocean.
Jeff, thank you so much for agreeing to jump on the podcast with me here. I've had a talk with the guys. What an awesome team you put together, especially when what Clint was referring to as the Jeff's Watch or Jeff's Pirates Cove Rescue Team. So tell us more how it all started here for you.
When I first took over in 1979, I already knew that people had drowned out here frequently, and I started to think about how we could prevent it. And within the first year, we had a girl go out there named McLaughlin, and she got caught in the currents, and she was out there, and I could hear her. And I took some of the customers out there with a rope and a life ring, and we brought her back. Bad thing is she died 17 hours later from salt inhalation. So when you're out there, there's lots of things that could take you out. So after that, I tried to figure out different ways to prevent people from drowning, and I started with the kayaks because the kayaks give you stability. Single kayaks aren't good because the person that's drowning could knock you right out of them. So I started to use double kayaks with 2 men, and then I would put an extra double kayak on a rope behind them, so if they went to rescue people and there was more than one, they could fit them in the second kayak. So I did that for years and rescued quite a few people that way. And then as time went on and I watched the GFD response to things being so late, and sometimes bad decisions were made, and sometimes I was told by the authorities to stand back. And after I saw some rescuers even die because of the currents in the channel, I decided that I better do this myself before the local government even should.
Our biggest SUV, the Palisade, and our smallest SUV, the Venue. Remember, it's not the size of the dog in your adventure, but the size of the adventure in your dog. Big or small, it's better in a Hyundai SUV.
We're all in this together, and that means we all need to continue to do our part.
We can't let our guard down. Each and every one of us are soldiers in this war against COVID-19, and every day is a battle.
It may sound hard to believe, but combating COVID requires us to hold the line every single day by continuing to practice social distancing, wear a mask, and wash your hands.
If there's anything we've learned these past few months is that things can change within hours. We can wake up in the morning hearing there are 0 positive cases, and by the time we go to sleep at night, we can see a spike.
That's why we urge you to please continue the fight, not just for yourself, but for your family and friends.
We can do this together.
Let's all stay ahead of the spread.
This message is brought to you by the KUAM Care Force. Join KUAM News every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on TV8 and streaming live on the KUAM News Facebook page for In Full Zoom, a half-hour program zooming in on efforts to rebuild Guam's economy. Nestor Lecanto will interview a panel of guests from the business sector via Zoom to discuss their ideas and suggestions on how the island can rebound from the devastating blow from COVID-19. From struggles to strategies to get Guam back on the road to economic recovery. Check out In Full Zoom Wednesdays on KUAM Digital and KUAM TV8 at 6:30 p.m. In Full Zoom is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. Check KUAM.com or our mobile news app for additional showtimes.
As an institution that has been a part of our lives, our community, our culture, and now for these changing times, the radio station you love and embrace during celebrations and in times when you need information will still be there, but in a way more accessible to more tomorrows across the globe and wherever you are. Isla lives on. The music continues. Download the KUAM News mobile app to your smart device and listen to the stream today.
So you have an awesome team. You put together an awesome team. Let's talk about how you got them involved at first.
Well, they're all like from islands like Kapingi Merengue and Chuk, and they're all water people. I call them watermen. You know, they know the water. So it was a matter of us studying the conditions, and the kayaks are a little bit more risky, and that's why I always have 2 guys in 1 kayak to give them double power. And many were rescued that way. But the jet skis, the new ones I have now, they are 1500 cc. They are super powerful. You can put 3 people on 1 jet ski, including the driver, or actually if they're small, you could put more. And then you've got the sled that can have 2 people be pulled on the sled. So the new modern equipment, once the cove became successful, I mean, the money people pay, they say, "Oh, Jeff, you're expensive." And I said, you know, you're paying for a lot more than you think, because I have no help doing this. It's all my Pirates Cove money that pays for these rescues.
And these rescues are free. You're doing it for free. You guys are putting your lives out there every day, and just to do the right thing to save people.
Yeah, it's an altruistic thing. It's to give people back their lives. I mean, if you're out there drowning and I come bring you back, you're very grateful.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And wow, it's like a selfless thing what you guys do, and you guys do it every day, and you keep doing it.
Well, the thing is here, sometimes you won't have a rescue in a year, but then you might have 6 in 1 year. Or you might get a whole family of 4 that you bring in. It's so unpredictable what's going to happen. But we're always watching, we're always listening, because People, when they're drowning, they yell, "Help, help," and I can hear them. I got very good hearing, and I go right to my binocular and assess the situation. With my binocular, I can look at their face and see how they're doing out there. The last fellow we rescued, he got caught up in the strings of his own kite, the sail, and he was in real sad shape. Another problem out there, you have these Portuguese man of war, and if they sting you, you get numb. You know, like we've pulled out one triathlon guy we pulled out of there. He had been stung all over by these jellyfish, they're not jellyfish, they're man of war, and Douglas pulled him right out of the water.
Wow. So let's talk about before in closing here. What message would you tell the people who are making their way to Jeff's for the beach, or to see the restaurant, or even to go to get into the water? What message would you have for them?
Most of the people I've rescued don't come see me. They're not my customers. They're just victims of themselves. Fishermen that decide to go out there last week, say, "Oh, we'll all meet and go to fishing behind Jeff's or whatever," and they show up, and if the weather's bad, they're not aware of how bad it is or the currents or anything else. I like to talk to everybody. If somebody wants to go swimming, I say, "You got to talk to me. I'm going to show you a place where you can swim, and only, but you cannot go in the channel. The channel is very, very dangerous. This time of year, it's okay. You can go snorkeling. You could do almost anything out there, spearfishing. But during normal times of year, which is all but maybe, I would say there's 40 days a year that it's very safe. And all the other times there's currents, and even that you might not notice it, but that channel has like a current on the bottom that runs like 25 miles an hour all the time. And, people aren't aware of it. And then so I just would rather people not go in the water. And I like having the media tell them, hey, people drown there. Even when I made a sign, the government didn't want me to put on the sign that people drown here. And I said, no, I wanted people to know people drown here. Well, you might scare them. Well, good. That's what I want to scare them. I don't want them in the water. It's just too much. Nobody's powerful enough for Mother Nature. When it's ripping out there, it's bad.
So in closing again, I'd like to go, because I had a chance to talk with Douglas, Lornis, and Titus. So just pretty much just give us a rundown of your team, and then how do you see these guys perform on a daily basis, and stuff like that.
Well, Douglas has been SARS trained, the search and rescue, through different teachings, and he's very familiar with everything, and he's a gung-ho rescue guy. I mean, this guy, he's ready to go anytime. So that is very good. Hanson, same thing. Titus is the backup guy. He's my mechanic, he's my engineer, he keeps the machinery going. These jet skis, if you don't use them all the time, the battery goes dead, and I didn't buy those for recreation for me. I bought them to save people. And I have like tinkle charges I have to do, keep them running and keep everything in shape. Lornis, he just came on board last year, but he's been a very credible rescuer. He's ready to go. He worked at ABC. He knows the jet skis, and he can plow through those big waves and get to you. That's the thing. Immediate response. They got to be ready to go. I got them all complete equipment, everything they need to go out there, so that helps too, having the safety involved. Winner is from Kapingi Marangi, just like Hanson Lowe, and those guys are very familiar with the water, and they're very, very strong. I mean, you cannot take them down out there. They will bring you back. They're all long-term employees, and they're all very, very into what they do for me. They are very heart-giving people. They want to save you.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much, and thank you and your team for all the awesome things you guys have done here, rescuing lives. That's that's something you don't see every day. You see, regular people just getting out there, putting their lives on the line, to save another and give another person, whoever is out there, a chance to live and breathe again. So that's a big thing. So thank you again, you and your team, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Good to see you.
Wow. 3 words: true island heroes. And that pretty much concludes another edition of the One Micronesia podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Tokyo 21, presented locally by IT&E.